So earlier this month, I released a video in which I made a mistake. The video identified 10 books that were supposed to be the most sold books in the month of June on the Shortboxed app. I incorrectly created that video using the most sold books for the entire year on the Shortboxed app. So that is my mistake, but we are going to correct it now. In this video, I'm going to run down the actual books that were the most sold books on the Shortboxed app in the month of June for this year. This is the correct video. Stay tuned. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As I mentioned, we're going to run down the top 10, and without any further ado, the number 10 book on the list is Wolverine Limited Series issue number 1. This comic is the first solo series featuring the incredibly popular Wolverine. The 9.8 has an increasing 30-day average value of $663 and represents 18% of the graded blue label census, which currently sits at 21,230 copies. The 9th book on the list is actually down 8 spots, and we are talking about Spider-Man issue number 7, the first appearance of Spider-Boy created by Dan Slott. There are currently 3,806 Universal Blue Label copies of the Ramos variant on the census. 92% of these copies are a 9.8, which has a 30-day average value of $108. Number 8 is New Mutants 98, the first appearance of Deadpool co-created by Rob Liefeld. There are currently 23,431 Universal Blue Label copies of this comic on the CGC census, with 17.7% of them landing a 9.8. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $1,528. Number 7 is new this month. It is Hulk, issue number 1 from 2008. There are currently 3,847 Universal copies of this comic on the census, with 39.5% of them landing a 9.8. The 9.8 has a somewhat stable 30-day average value of $294. This value has been pretty consistent for the last year. Number 6 is Uncanny X-Men issue number 266, the first cover and second appearance of Gambit. There are currently 19,900 Universal Blue Label copies of this comic on the CGC census. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $745 and represents 17.6% of Universal copies. Number 5 is Transformers issue number 1 from 1984. There are 5,791 Universal Blue Label copies of this comic on the census, with 620 9.8s. The 9.8, at just 10.8% of the total Universal copies, has a rising 30-day average value of $1,493. Number 4, Amazing Spider-Man issue 300, the first appearance of Venom. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $3,820 and represents just 5.3% of the total graded population of 27,333 Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars issue number 8. The origin of the black costume that later becomes Venom. There are currently 23,258 Blue Label copies of this comic on the census, with 22.4% of them landing a 9.8. The 9.8 has a declining 30-day average value of $661. Number 2, up 6 spots since last month, is Ultimate Fallout issue number 4, the first appearance of Miles Morales. There are currently 15,360 Universal Blue Labels on the census, with 4,013 of them, or 26.1%, landing a 9.8. The 9.8 has a declining 30-day average value of $1,696. And the number one book is Sandman, issue number 1, the first appearance of Morpheus, the Master of Dreams. There are currently 4,680 universal copies of this Neil Gaiman comic on the CGC census. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $712 with roughly 1,140 graded copies. So there you have it. That is the rundown of the top 10 most sold books on the Shortboxed app in the month of June. I am curious as to your thoughts on 3 books. Why do you think Sandman, Hulk, and Transformers managed to make this month's list? Sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, I definitely want to encourage you to give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want to invite you to do that now. And if you want to reach out to me, you can do that on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care. All right, so I thought I would show you guys a project that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. This is our chicken coop. The wife decided a few months ago that she wanted some chicks, and so we did all kinds of research on the different types of chickens that are out there, ton of research on how to raise them, how to feed them and protect them, a lot of research on the coops and all that kind of stuff. I ended up finding this coop from Tractor Supply, had it delivered and had to move all 600 plus pounds of it from the front of the property to the back of the property using a hand truck. But I got it back here, got it assembled, and then my wife decided that she wanted to rotate it. So I had to rotate the whole thing around, get it into its current configuration. But so far so good. We're in our second week with this thing. The chicks are doing well, the dogs are adjusting, the kids and the wife are enjoying it. I think there's a lot of improvements that we want to make to the setup that we have here in terms of how we do the food and the water, but we have time. We have time to figure that out. So far so good.
This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art, or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master, the one that's more than a rapper, the one that's an educator, the one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts, he's got the mindset expansive. He understands that his time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan, straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms of pure souls having them conversations, synergy and combinations. You fly and we waiting, Indian style in the gold.